Hi guys, it's Thea and welcome back to my channel. And today I was going through some YouTube videos and I was watching a video by Kristen K. I love your channel, of course. She did a video on religion and her beliefs basically, and kind of like religious stereotypes and stuff. And she basically said she wants to know what other people believe in, just out of curiosity. And I have the same thing. I always get super curious. Sorry, I need to grab this thing. I always get like super curious about other people's religions, and I figured I would share what my beliefs are and why they are the way they are. And my situation is a lot different than the average person, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. Okay, so I was adopted, and my adoptive parents were super religious, strict Christians. And growing up, it was really hard for me because I felt that I had to fit this mold of Christian perfection, I guess, and it was just really hard for me to do that. I always felt like I was a sinner, and I always felt like I needed to obey all these rules and, whatnot. As I got older and met my birth mom and, found out more about my birth father, I found out more about other religions and was really curious about them. And my birth mom was Buddhist, and my father was pagan. And so I totally dived into both of those and studied them, and sometimes I would say I was Buddhist and sometimes I'd say I was pagan or this or that. And to this day, I still study religions. I find them absolutely fascinating. All over the world, there are so many different religions. It's crazy, but most religions all have one God. Sometimes they have multiple gods, but there's always a major deity that everyone worships, and, the creator of the universe. And that's one of the main consistencies that I find in religion. And so, for a long time, I used to say that I was agnostic because I believed in God, but I didn't want to associate myself with a certain religion. But what I've found through studying so many different religions is that more than anything, it's your actions and the things that you do in the world basically come back at you with karma. So if you do good things in the world, usually you get good karma and good things happen to you in life. Same the opposite way. If you do bad things to people, usually you get karma for it. And, that's kind of how most religions go. They kind of give you a book or a path that is basically telling you, you do this, you're going to get good karma. You do this, you're going to get bad karma. So that's kind of how all religions pretty much work. A lot of them have a version of hell and a version of heaven. Some have the afterlife as reincarnation, and you just come back as another person and you don't remember your past life. Some people say that they do remember their past lives. So it just kind of depends on where you're from. But for me, because I was exposed at a young age as a Christian, I think I'll always have those morals and values that Christianity brings with it. Do not steal, basic things that make you a good person. I don't know, I have a lot of old Bible teachings probably still stuck in my memory from my childhood, like the Good Samaritan, and stuff like that. So that's kind of where my roots stem from. But as I learned more about paganism and Buddhism, I kind of found a middle ground between all three of them. I take from not just religion, but in general in the whole world, if I find positive quotes and stuff online, I share them, uplifting things that'll, brighten someone else's day up. And, I do a lot of the time repost posts by Buddha and Jesus and Mother Teresa and, all these different religious figures, whether they came from a different religion or not, I've kind of accepted the differences between all the other people's beliefs and not to find hatred between them all. Versus like being raised Christian, it was like our way is the only way, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like when you become more educated and less afraid about dying and you put your faith in a creator, you drop all of the negativity towards everyone else and the judgments towards everyone else. Because a lot of the judgments as a Christian that I would judge other people for were things I was judging myself about. So, for example, when I was really young, I was really prude, and I wouldn't kiss boys or hold hands with boys like my friends would, like in early middle school, high school. And if other girls would do it, I'd judge them because that was something I wouldn't do. Does that make sense? So I've dropped a lot of those walls and have decided not to judge other people because, everybody on this planet has come from a whole different walk of life, a whole different lifestyle. Why should I be the one judging them? I don't know what their life was like before I met them. So that's kind of the way I look at it. I still have a cross of Jesus hanging on my wall right now. I kind of use him as my main deity because I, was raised to believe that, he is the Son of God and all that stuff. You guys know the whole story, I'm sure. But, he's the Son of God, Jesus. And as for my religious, deep spiritual beliefs, I add in lots of different things from each religion that I've studied and what suits me the best. So with Buddhism, I take kind of the peace that comes with Buddhism. If you meet Buddhist people, they're so sweet, they're so happy, they're so enlightened, and I kind of take that positivity from them a lot of the time, along with the yoga from Hinduism and Buddhism, and the meditation, obviously, from Buddhism. And meditation has been one of my amazing God-sent things. I don't even know how to describe it. It's amazing. Like, if you regardless of your religion, everyone should meditate because it really does bring you to an ultimate peace in your heart and you feel good and all of the problems that you have just disappear during that time and you just feel like a whole weight just comes off of your shoulders. Like, it's just so good for you. And it actually, if you look into meditation, it actually does help with, the chemistry in your brain, and it really helps heal your brain and other parts of your body, especially if you get good at meditation. So that's one of the biggest things I've taken from Buddhism. Jesus and my Bible are the biggest things I've taken from Christianity. I take the good things out of each religion. The negative things I try to avoid as much as possible because I don't feel that they suit much purpose. I mean, a lot of these stories from the past with negativity, you can learn from them and you learn kind of not to do those things because of the stories, but, so I don't know. I just kind of take the good out of everything and then mesh it all into like my beliefs. And then obviously from paganism, if you guys don't know very much about paganism, it is basically an earth-based religion and there are different branches of paganism all over the planet. So just so you know, paganism can be confusing when you're first learning it. It is so confusing at first. I was so lost at first. Oh my gosh. There's Wiccan, which is like the New Age witch pagan. There's old paganism, and there's all kinds of different forms of old paganism. And it's basically, I take the nature-based parts of paganism. For example, you use a lot of crystals and herbs and what, modern day pagans probably call like magic. I don't know what they technically would call it, but, it's not really like sorcery like the Bible says, at least not in my eyes. It's more like, if you light some sage, this also comes from shamanism, which is a form of paganism, which was, obviously Native American Indians. You guys didn't know that. But you get a sage and you light it around your house, and it gets rid of evil spirits. And that is known in multiple religions. So I use that a lot from paganism and the crystals, and I have a little cauldron with pentagram, and if you guys are afraid of pentagrams, you shouldn't be. You have been misinformed. Pentagrams, each sign of the star, the 4 points on the bottom of the star are earth, air, fire, water, all the 4 elements, and then the top of the star is your spirit. So that's what a pentagram means. It doesn't mean Satan unless it's pointing downward. So if you see upside down pentagrams, that means that that person is a Satanist. Just so you guys know. I had to learn all of these things, so if you guys don't know, don't feel bad, because you really have to study a lot to learn all of these things, and I've been studying these things for like 10 years plus, so, to finally get to where I am and my beliefs. So, anyway, so those are the little bits of goodness that I've taken from each of the religions that have formed me, but now I'm going to drop a bomb on you and let you guys know. After a while, I was, studying all these things, and I stumbled upon the law of attraction. And a lot of people who are finding out about it, I'm just so happy, because everyone should know what the law of attraction is. It is a law based on science that, whatever you put out, you attract back to you in the universe. So it's based on your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions. So you have to learn how to master your thoughts and your emotions. And, if something, for example, if someone, I don't know, here's an example. You're driving down the street and someone pulls in front of you. You can choose to be angry, or you can choose to be like, oh man, they cut me off, but maybe they're having a bad day. So it's basically mastering your thoughts to stay in a positive, optimistic mindset, and then that brings more positive stuff into your life, basically. So that's kind of what the law of attraction does. That's like not even half of it. That's not even the beginning of what the law of attraction is, but that's kind of like an example of how people use the law of attraction. Now, with the law of attraction, I'm just going to let you guys know to go look up The Secret on Netflix if you have not seen it yet. Everyone should see The Secret. It's also a book by Rhonda Byrne, I think is how you say her name. And it will change your life.